When my brother Eddie and I went to Seoul, we thought that it'd be just another visit. But this time we came across something that we had never seen in Korea before.
Yeah, here. Right? Okay, here.
I know. So what do you want to know? What's happening? I'll tell you.
No, we want to show
What do
it.
you want to know? No. Cannot do that.
Hey guys, my name is Tiger with Pacific Rim Video, and we're here at the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival, and we're here with one of the awesome filmmakers, this young man over here. So can you introduce yourself and tell us about your film?
Sure. My name is Jason Wiley, and I am the director of Save My Soul. Yeah, so Save My Soul is a feature-length documentary, and it focuses on prostitution and sex trafficking in Korea. So it's a film that we've been working on for the past 4 years, and we want to really use this film to spread light and awareness for an important issue. Yeah.
Well, obviously with such a heavy, dark matter and something that's very relevant and important in today's society, how did you get involved?
Honestly, even if you had asked me 4 years ago about this issue, I would have said I have no idea what's going on there. We actually got an email from a pastor in Korea who said, hey, this is a huge issue that's happening. Please come out and make a film about it. And honestly, my response was, wait, there's no prostitution or sex trafficking happening in Korea. It was something I had thought about always in like Thailand or Brazil or places like that. And they said, well, we'll fly you out for free. And we said, okay, we'll go. And what we saw there was totally mind-blowing because I had grown up with all my family in Korea, so I would always go, and you see Korean barbecue and K-pop. And what we saw just kind of baffled us that Korean culture, there's rampant prostitution. And there was hundreds of thousands, if not millions of girls who were victims of sex trafficking. And what was supposed to be a 10-minute video, we ended up shooting 500 hours of footage. And we said, you know what, let's make a feature-length documentary about this.
Well, and with a subject matter such as that, what drove you to make, let's say, a film versus, I don't know, do you go to the authorities? What do you, can you speak a little bit about using film as a tool to help change this?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think at the end of the day, we believe at Jubilee that that stories can change the world and that we all have to play our part in fighting the injustice we see everywhere. And I think for some of us, it's being lawyers and advocating, and some of us, it's being activists. For us, it's being storytellers. And we kind of felt like if we can tell a really authentic story that brings a face and brings a name to this issue, that's going to be our part. And unfortunately, as you talk about authorities and about the government, this is something that's pretty well known actually in Korea, that people are very familiar with, but it's so ingrained in the culture that they don't really do that much about it. And we're hoping that by kind of raising our hand and saying, hey, this is not right, we can start to have people reevaluate what is going on and reconsider whether this is okay or not. Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll find out in the film, those of us who are lucky enough to see it, and make sure that we can help you with this endeavor. In your experience, seeing what you saw and filming what you filmed, is it just maybe the cultural aspects? I know from a small aspect in Koreatown here in LA, there's always been that questionable to me culture. If I stand, I could be stand corrected, but yeah. But did you find links between what maybe you see even on a local level here? Because you said you were unaware of it in Korea.
Yeah.
But did you ever see it here and maybe think there was links, or is there any crossover?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you talk about the Tomi culture in Koreatown, it's very similar in terms of the structure. And a lot of times you see these young girls who, their job is to have drinks and have fun. And there is a population or a percentage of these girls who are doing this by choice. And they're saying, you know what, I just want to make extra money. I enjoy doing this. But by and large, what we found was that the majority of the women or the girls who are doing this were doing it against their will. And not necessarily they were like being beaten or things like that, but they came from a background of, abuse or ran away from home. And they got in with a pimp who now kind of owns their debt and says, hey, we're taking care of you, we're giving you a home, or things like all these different things. And it's becoming almost like an indentured servant. So modern slavery. And, when I first thought about sex trafficking, I thought of the movie Taken. We think of like Liam Neeson and someone's like getting taken off the street. But more and more what we're seeing is actually systemic. And it begins with a society and a culture that's failed a lot of these young women. And they've got nowhere to turn. And now they're in this lifestyle and there's no way for them to come out.
Well, at our festival we have a myriad of different shorts, features, documentaries. And there's always that question as a documentary filmmaker, when do you step in, when do you not? And with the subject matter of this, I'm sure there was moments where you had to have wanted to pull the Korean Liam Neeson and use your set of skills. Was that I mean, the emotional roller coaster you must have had to have gone through making it, let alone the audience and the people actually starring in this. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it was tough because there were a lot of moments where we actually in the film go in with hidden cameras and we go into the brothels and we're meeting these girls. And in the film starts kind of from our perspective, but it really quickly changes to be a story about these two young girls. And so often there were times when we said, no, we should step in, we should do something. But at the back of our mind, I think one thing that was always really clear to me was that our voice was to really take what the story and the honesty that these girls are giving to us and trusting with us and make sure that we make as many people know about this as possible. So I think in every given situation, it was like, maybe I can help slightly in this one scenario, but actually if we make this film, I think we can hopefully help hundreds of thousands of people. And that's always tough, though. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's always going to be arguments of cultural differences, and as us Asians, we have a lot of pride, right? I'm sure you received a fair share of backlash, perhaps, controversy. Can you speak on that, or maybe how you've dealt with it?
Yeah, we have gotten a lot of backlash so far. For instance, a lot of the people who were going to finance our film had to pull out. As they were seeing the first cut of the film, they said, wow, this is like a lot more intense than we expected. Because we wanted to be really authentic with the story. I think now as we're coming out with the film, a lot of the questions that we get is questions like, why would you make this film? Why would you make Korea look bad? Because, as Asians, we're so used to saving face and looking good. And we expect that there's going to be a huge backlash, actually. But we're also seeing a huge coalition of young Asian Americans and even young Koreans who are saying, no, we want to stand with this film. We want to fight for justice. And I think that whatever happens, that this dialogue is going to be really, really beneficial for the issue at large. So it's going to be challenging, but I think it's going to be important.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having the bravery and the guts to stand up and fight for those who can't fight for themselves sometimes. And that being said, as we wrap up here, how can us as audience members, as people who want to support a good cause, help you? How can we support you? Can we find you on social media? Is there activism that we can do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been asking everyone to visit our website first and foremost. It's just SaveMySeoul.com. We're actually launching on iTunes our pre-sale.
Soul spelled S-E.
S-E-O-U-L, yeah. Save My Soul. No, totally. Right after this premiere, actually, on Sunday, we're launching our iTunes pre-sale. And one of the biggest things we're asking people is to buy the film, buy it twice, buy it 10 times. The proceeds are going to go to the production, actually, but mainly we want to ask people to buy the film because there are a lot of executives who are not sure whether there's going to be a demand for this film. And we really want it to be on a Netflix or a Hulu or an Amazon. First step, exactly, just to raise more awareness. So we want to sell 1,000 copies of this and say, hey, people want to watch this. People are hungry for content like this. So we'd love for people to support in that way. And then beyond that, there's all these great resources on our website for actual organizations that you can donate to directly. Yeah, it's all on SaveMySoul.com still. And yeah, we would love it. And I think that at the end of the day, we all have a different part to play, right? There's not one answer for all of us, but hopefully once people learn about this issue and they realize how unjust it is, that we can all find our voice, whether it's as a filmmaker or as a host or as an influencer, as a student. There's all these different ways that we can get involved.
Well, thank you so much, Jason, and thank you for your time. Best of luck to you, and hope we can help fix this problem.
사람들이 정말 안다면 바뀔 수밖에 없어요.